Today we are going to talk about the law of consistency. How many of you have a problem with being consistent? And I want you guys to know that motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Okay. So if you've ever taken a break from something that you're working towards or something that you decided to do, drop a 1 in the chat. And life happens, right? So if you've gotten back into that thing that you're working on, drop a 2 in the chat. All right. So a lot of you have stopped doing something that you wanted to do. Oops. And then you guys got back into doing that thing that you stopped doing. And that's good. That's good that you got back into it. But I want you to think, what did you do between the time that you took a break and the time that you got started again? Did you watch the people that were doing what you wanted to do what you should have been doing? Right? I've always wondered that in our business that we do, when people take a break, they're still watching my story. They're still, using the products that they're taking a break from. And I want you guys to keep that in mind while, someone out there is training, and when they show up, they are going to win the race. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me up at night. Even if I take a break, I'm still going to be watching people do what I should be doing. So I'm not going to watch people. I'm going to be the person that other people are watching. Okay. And I want you guys to keep that mindset and to kind of have that food for thought in your head. So if you guys ask all of the successful people how much consistency means to them, how much consistency means to developing a business or a skill set, they're all going to say that it's everything. Right? From Kobe Bryant to Trent Shelton to Colin Kaepernick to anyone in a network marketing business, anyone that's successful in anything, Tom Brady, he's going to tell you it's consistency. And most successful people weren't good at what they started at first. A lot of them were overlooked. And if you guys are, in that position right now, I want you to know you're going to have your moment with consistency. You cannot do anything and you cannot get good at anything without being consistent at it first. So I'm gonna get into this lesson. I have some tips on how you guys can grow in your consistency. But I always think, why do people have such a hard time with being consistent, right? The hallmark of excellence, the test of greatness, is consistency. And sometimes we think, if I can just motivate this person, I can help them succeed. Every time I get on a call, I always want to motivate you guys so that you can believe that you can succeed. And after I get off of a call, or after I get off of a training, or after I've posted a podcast, people message me and they tell me, they're like, that was so motivating. I'm so inspired. I needed to hear that today. And then I go and check on that same person in 2 weeks or even in a few days, and that motivation didn't last very long, right? Think about maybe a conference that your company has held, or maybe think of an event that you went to, right? When you're in that moment, you're feeling the emotions, you're excited. And I've seen it firsthand a week later, not even a week later, the same people that were so motivated and so excited at that same event, at that same conference, after that same webinar, they're not excited anymore. All right. So if you guys look at success and you want to see success, you need to know that it's always self-discipline over motivation. Okay. So don't get me wrong. I'm a very big believer in motivation. I'm always out here doing calls, motivating people, talking motivation, because I know that everyone wants to be encouraged and everyone enjoys being inspired, including myself. I listen to motivational talks, and I go and pour into all these motivational podcasts and YouTube videos every single day. But motivation is what's going to get you going, but discipline is going to keep you growing. All right. So the truth when it comes to personal growth is that motivation will get you going, but discipline will keep you growing. And that's the law of consistency. So it doesn't matter how talented you are, and it doesn't matter how many opportunities you receive. If you want to grow, consistency is always going to be the key. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys about 3 ways you can grow in consistency. Drop a 3 in the chat if you want to know how you can grow in consistency. And I believe that the only reason why people fail at anything in life is because they're not consistent. So unless you're injured, and you can't play a sport, or unless you're an actor or singer and something happens to your voice, the only reason why people don't succeed is because they're not consistent. And even if someone gets hurt, or an unexpected distraction comes in the way, successful people will always find something else to be consistent at. All right. So the number one way, and these are questions that you guys are going to ask yourself so that you can grow in consistency. So the first question I want you guys to ask yourself is, do you know what you need to improve? So type in the chat, what is something that you need to improve on? For me, I need to improve on waking up a little earlier. I like waking up around 10 or 11 a.m. But before I got into business, you guys, I was waking up at 12 p.m. or even 2 p.m. sometimes. I would sleep my whole entire day away. I've suffered with depression and anxiety all of my life. I love sleeping, but this business has, made me enjoy life a little more. It's given me a purpose and something to wake up for. Now I don't just wake up for myself, but for me, I had a hard time waking up early, and I would stay up late and I would drink until 3 or 4 a.m., especially in the service industry. And that would make me wake up at 2 in the afternoon, and I would repeat that same toxic cycle over and over again. So when I started a business, I had to, focus on, I need to improve on this. I can't be out till 4 a.m., waking up at 2 p.m. Now I have people that are relying on me. Now I have a purpose. Now I have a reason to wake up a little earlier, because now I have other people that I'm coaching and mentoring, and I can't be sleeping that late. And it's not just for me, it's for the people that are trusting me with their business, right? So you have to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. Write that down. You have to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed. Oh, sorry. Other way around. You need to get up every morning. Yes, I said that right. You need to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. So if you want to be satisfied at night when you're putting your head on that pillow, you need to wake up determined. And this is true, right? But you need to know where you're going to direct your determination. So I want you guys to drop in the chat, what is something that you're determined of becoming? I'm determined to become a millionaire by the end of next year, by the end of 2022. I'm determined to become a millionaire with my business, and make it a year goal. So where are you going to be in 1 year? Right? If you are in your business and you've hit maybe the first rank or the third rank, or maybe you're in the middle of your company, right? Maybe whatever it is, and don't be afraid to dream big, but where do you want to be by the end of 2022? Determined to become a director, a better version of myself. And I want you guys to get detailed at this, okay? What does that better version of yourself look like? What does that director version of yourself look like? Okay, so you need to develop yourself if you want to become successful. And a lot of people have the ambition to succeed. They show aptitude for, you know, their job or their career that they're working towards, but they don't move forward, right? How many times have you heard, I'm going to be a millionaire? How many times have you heard, I'm going to hit for the people that are in the same business as me? I'm going to hit AED. And why doesn't it happen for most people? It's because they think they can master that title without mastering themselves. They think they can master a title, but they don't work on mastering themselves. And it's a huge mistake. Your future is dependent on your entire personal growth, right? Improving yourself daily guarantees you a future that's filled with possibilities. And expanding yourself and working on yourself, that's going to not just expand yourself, it's going to expand your horizons. It's going to expand the options that you have in your life. It's going to expand your opportunities, and it's going to expand your potential. So if I spent all my time perfecting, you know, my ability to become an SED, if I spent all of my time perfecting my ability to go and get that Cadillac, if I spent all my time perfecting the ability to speak to you guys and to be a public speaker and to do team calls, I would have never grown. The reason why I'm here speaking to you guys the way I'm speaking to you is because I perfected growing myself. I want you to think of, let's say you start dating someone new, okay? You have a new guy that you're talking to. You guys don't need to say this in the chat, but I want you to think of what is the one thing that you don't want that guy or girl to see. What's the one thing you do not want that person to see? What's that one thing you don't want that person to know? And I'll let you guys know mine. I am very messy. I am so messy. Like, my laundry has been on my couch for literally like 5 days now, right? And if I had a guy that I was just starting to see and he was coming over, I wouldn't want him to see my messy habits. Me and my mom, we like to argue. As much as we love each other, we like to argue, right? And that is something I do not want my the guy that I just start dating to see. So I want you to think of, how do you act when that person is around, right? For me, I'm like, I'm gonna go clean up really quick. Me and my mom, we love each other. We never fight. And that's what how you act when that person is around, or whatever you're hiding, that's what you need to work on. That's what you need to develop. If you're like, I don't know what I need to develop, I want you to think of the one thing you don't want your new man or girlfriend to know about you. That's what you need to develop of yourself. Okay? So you must develop yourself to be successful. Focus on yourself, and the success that you are working toward will come. All right? And knowing what you need to improve will help you with consistency. So your future, again, is dependent on your personal growth. Improving yourself daily is gonna give you a future that's filled with possibilities. Okay, so I was working at Hooters. You guys know I was a waitress. I was a trainer there. And I went from telling people what to do to leading people, and for people following me because they want to follow me. I don't need to tell people what to do. I've worked on myself enough that people have seen my work that I've done on myself, and they want to follow me because of the results that I've been able to achieve, because I focused on improving myself. So improving yourself instead of your position is going to open up your future. I went from training people in a restaurant to being able to talk to hundreds of you here on Zoom, here on IG Live, hi IG fam, to talking to you guys on my podcast, to talking to hundreds of people on stage, because I was focused on improving myself. So I focused on not waking up in the afternoon. I focused on moving my body at least 3 times a week. from not ever working out, ever. I focused on reading another book. At least every month I'm reading a new book now. I'm on my 4th book in the last 5 months. Whenever I started and failed 75 hard, I still kept reading my books, right? So I focused on reading another book. I focused on talking positive to myself and catching myself in gossip, catching myself in other people talking negatively about other people, not participating in those conversations. Those are all ways to grow yourself. I focused on changing up my circle. I focused on focusing on my faith. There's a quote. I'm going to tell you guys a lot of quotes today, but the successful person has the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do. The successful person doesn't like doing them either, but his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. The successful person has the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do. The successful person doesn't like doing them either, but his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. I listened to a podcast that Andy Frisella had done. And you guys, I just told you in the beginning, I have trouble waking up early in the morning. I'm a snoozer. I love sleeping in. I just love how I feel. It's like the sheets feel so much more softer in the morning for some reason. But Andy, he says this on his podcast. He said, there's not one morning where I wake up and I don't want to stay in bed. Everyone wants to stay in bed, but there's not one morning where he doesn't wake up and he wishes he could stay in bed instead, but his purpose is so strong that he cannot stay in bed. And that's how I got up this morning, right? We started this call at 9 a.m. Waking up at 7:45 is not on my schedule, but I heard Andy in my head. No, I don't ever feel like I want to wake up this early. When I get up, I never want to actually get up. So the successful person has the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. And the successful person doesn't like doing them either, but his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. So the more that you're tuned in to your purpose, the more dedicated you are to growing towards it. The better your chances are that you're reaching your potential and expanding your possibilities and doing something significant. So all 400 of you guys are my purpose. Like, I wasn't going to sleep in today and be like, sorry guys, I'm not coming in today. I'm pouring into you. My purpose is to help other people live a beautiful life. I prayed to God before I got on this call that, he would help you guys see the vision that he has planned for you, that he would give you guys a breakthrough today that you haven't seen something that you haven't seen in yourself yet. I prayed that you guys would see that in yourself today while we're on this call. Because finding that purpose, finding your worth is a big part of you guys being consistent in what you want to work towards. Number 2, do you know how you are supposed to improve? To grow, most people need knowledge, experience, and coaching. So in network marketing, right, and what we do, we're trying to lead people. The goal for us leaders isn't to just be a motivational speaker. I don't want to come on here and just speak motivation into you guys, but I also want to be a motivational teacher. I want people to walk away from this call knowing how to apply the inspiration they just felt. So I don't want you guys to just walk away feeling inspired. I want you to know how to proceed with that inspiration and what you're inspired about. So in his book, he talked about, there's a book here where I'm getting all of this information. I don't just come up with this stuff at the top of my head. But there are different types of people. Okay, number 1 was, do you know what you need to improve? Right? So think about what you would hide from a new date, something you don't want a new boyfriend or girlfriend to know about. that's probably what you need to improve, right? Improving yourself is so much more important than improving the title that you're working on. All right. So there are, different types of people, and you need to know what type of person you are to know what you need to improve. All right. So the first type of person is the phlegmatic person. And phlegmatic people, they have the strength to be easygoing and likable. All right. Their weakness is inertia. So if you're phlegmatic, a way that you can motivate yourself is finding value in what you need to do. Right? So if I'm phlegmatic, I know that, and maybe I don't want to wake up early and I don't want to come on this call and speak, because what if I don't, have, enough value to add to you guys? One, I know from experience, from the calls that I've been on, and just get on one call if you're afraid to do a call. Every time I get off the call, there's at least one person that gained value from what I said and the messages that you guys send me, right? I think about, okay, these people are going to message me and tell me how they got off of this call feeling some type of way, right? So I think about the value that is added when I do these calls, which is what gets me up to do these calls. Right? Someone gets off, at least one person will tell me I needed to hear that. All right. So you're going to motivate, if you're a phlegmatic person, if your strength is, you're easygoing and you're likable, you need to find value in what you need to do. So when phlegmatics see value in something, they can be one of the most, tenacious people of all personality types. And this book is The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. And then everyone's asking, who's Andy? He is a business owner, but he runs the podcast Real AF. I'm like, sometimes I feel like everyone already knows this stuff, but if you guys haven't even tapped in to Andy Frisella yet, you are about to be awakened today. All right. So the opposite of that personality types are cholerics. That's CHOLERICS. And the strength of people with this personality type is that they take charge easily, right? They're good at making decisions quickly. And their weakness is that if they're not in charge, they don't want to participate. I feel like I'm like all of these personality types. So if you are, just put them all together. So these people like to be in charge, and if they're not in charge, if they don't like to make decisions, they don't want to participate. So if you are a choleric, I hope I'm saying that right, choleric, the way you're going to tap into your internal motivation is by focusing on the choices you can make, right? You can be in charge of waking up in the morning. You can be in charge of picking a topic to go and talk about and put value into people. All right. So by focusing on the choices you can make, everyone is in charge of their personal growth, right? Choose how you're going to grow and choose how you're going to stick to it if this is your personality type. And the most fun-loving of all personality types are people who are sanguine. Hope I'm saying that one right too. But they are often the life of the party. So if you are the life of the party, this one is for you. And I feel like this is me too. Their weakness is often the lack of focus. Okay. So if this is your personality type, the way that you can motivate yourself to grow is by making a game out of it, right? So normally, if making a game out of it seems impossible, give yourself a reward for incremental successes. When I do this, I'm going to do this for myself. For me, it was when I hit which is the middle of our compensation plan, I'm going to buy myself a MacBook. Okay, that was my gift to myself. When I hit ED, I'm going to buy myself my first Gucci bag. I gave myself gifts for every milestone, and it was a gift that I needed. I needed a MacBook. I ran my whole business off of my cell phone for 11 months because I wanted so bad. I was like, I'm going to gift myself at because I want that to be my pinnacle rank. All right. So make a gift out of it. If you are someone that, you have a lack of focus. All right. So again, if making a game out of it seems impossible, give yourself a gift. And this is going to be recorded. This is going to be posted on my podcast. So you guys are going to be able to rewind and replay and take notes if you guys missed anything. But I want to make sure I cover everything. I've already been going on for 30 minutes and I'm only supposed to talk for 30 minutes, but I'm a rule breaker. Sorry. So the final personality type is melancholic. And these are life's perfectionists, okay? They pay attention to detail. That's their strength. But because they desire to do everything perfectly, they're afraid of making mistakes. All right? So if this is you, if you're a perfectionist and you're scared to make a mistake, you need to focus on the joy of learning details and the potential for developing a mastery over subject matter. Okay, so as you can see, every personality type has its strengths. You just need to tap into the strength of that personality type. But you want to start with the simple stuff, okay? Start with the simple stuff. The number one mistake that people make is that they attempt to do too much. And the result of that is discouragement. So when you attempt to do too much too soon, you're almost guaranteed to fall short of what you're working towards. And that's demotivating. The secret to building motivational momentum is to start with the smaller things first. Start with the simple stuff. Let's say you are working on starting a nail business, right? You're not gonna start off with like difficult designs and doing A-press, gel-X nails. The first thing you're going to do is learn how to do a simple manicure. Learn how to clean the person's nails first. Right? Let's say you are working towards baseball, or you're a baseball player and you want to go pro. You're going to focus on that first inning before you focus on your home run. If you're training horses, you're going to focus on, using low fences before you ask that horse to go jump a high fence. If you're starting a new business, you're going to focus on getting that one customer first before becoming a millionaire, right? So if you want to gain momentum and improve your motivation, do it by setting goals that are worthwhile but highly achievable. All right? Because when you start with the simple stuff, you are going to gain way more confidence by achieving small, simple things. And these small, simple things are actually very big things that, I'm going to get into that. But these small, simple things will turn into bigger things over time. So what is the goal that you're all thinking of right now? What's that goal that's worthwhile, but still highly achievable? Drop it in the chat. So all of you gave me a big goal that you want to achieve, but what's a small goal that you guys can achieve today? You need to be, what's something you can do today and achieve today? What's something that you can achieve today? Get organized, plan out my week. Yes. One VIP customer, move my body, take action. Read a chapter in a book. Okay. Yes. So what's one thing that you can achieve today that will bring you closer to that bigger goal? And I'm telling you, if you achieve that one thing, it's going to give you more Alexa. Who do your Alexa? If you achieve that one thing, it's going to give you more confidence to be able to achieve the bigger thing. Okay, so master the basics and then practice them every single day without fail. Every day. I don't know how many times I have to say every day, but every day. Can I get an every day in the chat? Someone type every day in the chat. Every day. Yes. Okay. Master the basics. then practice them every day without fail. I want you to write this down. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. So if you want to grow, don't try to win big right now, right? The goal, of course, is to always win big, but you want to win small first. People always go for that big hit. People always go for that big goal. I see it all the time. People join my business. Kat, I'm going to be your next director. I'm going to pick up that car. People are always going for the big hit, and then they don't realize that the big hit never comes without a great deal of the little hits first. The big hit never comes without a great deal of little hits first. Okay? So be patient. Every endeavor that I've ever led is more difficult than I believed it would be. Getting started in the business that I'm in was a lot more difficult than I believed it was going to be. But I had patience. I was patient, right? From Congratulations from Post Malone. I'm not a good singer, so I'm not even gonna try to do that. But have patience. All things are gonna be difficult before they become easy. And most people never realize how close they are to achieving significant things because they give up too soon. So the people who grow and achieve the most are the ones who harness the power of patience and persistence. And I want you guys to value the process. The best thing that you can do for yourself as a learner is to cultivate the ability to value and enjoy the process of growth. The grass is always greener in the valley. The grass only grows in the valley. So it's gonna take a long time. If you guys have big goals, it's gonna take a long time. I'm 3 years in now and I haven't even tapped into like halfway to where I wanna be. It's gonna take a long time, so enjoy the journey. There's another part of this I wanted to read. There's a quote in here and it says, life goals are reached by setting annual goals. Annual goals are reached by reaching daily goals. Daily goals are reached by doing things which may be uncomfortable at first, but eventually become habits. So me going live here, me talking to hundreds of you on this Zoom, I did not start this being comfortable with it. Go and watch my reel I posted 2 days ago. The glow up is real when you start being consistent. All right? You get more comfortable as you do those small things that you are uncomfortable with doing. And habits become powerful things, and habits turn actions into attitudes, and attitudes into lifestyles. So you can visualize tomorrow by using it as motivation to grow. But if you actually want to grow, you need to focus on today. Value today and enjoy today so that you can believe, one, in yourself, but so that you can invest in today. So value today and enjoy it so that you can invest in it. All right, have a small victory approach. Don't believe that that one big win and that one public success is going to solve your self-confidence and problems. All right. I'm confident today because of all of the small things that I have done consistently over time that added up to my biggest successes. I look back and like, damn, I talked on my story every day for 3 years. I have shared this business with someone every day for 3 years. I have uplifted someone in my organization every day for 3 years. I have hosted events consistently for 3 years. Okay? It's the little things that get me confident. I have hosted calls every week for 3 years. All right? That's what gives me the confidence that I have today. All right? And I have 2 more things. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get this done in 5 minutes. But number 3 is, do you know why you want to keep improving? Do you know why? Drop it in the chat. I want to see why you all decided to come here and improve yourself today. My family, my vision. Everyone wants to help their family. I love it. Okay, there's a why test, all right? If you don't know your why, I want you guys to ask yourself these questions. Number 1, actually, no. These questions are gonna let you know if your why is solid enough. All right, if your why is solid enough. Number 1, do you constantly procrastinate on important tasks? You guys don't need to say yes or no in the chat box. You can keep this to yourself. Question 2, do you require coaxing to do small chores? Do you perform duties just to get by? Do you constantly talk negatively about your work? Do efforts of friends to encourage you irritate you instead? So when your mentor motivates you or when your friends are motivating you, do you get irritated instead of empowered? Number 6, do you start small projects and abandon them? And number 7, do you avoid self-improvement opportunities? If you answered yes to a lot of these questions, you haven't tapped into a strong enough why yet. That will keep you going. Okay. And my why, I grew up, you guys, I grew up and I didn't have a big family growing up. Right? I have one family picture of all of me, my mom, my dad, and my grandma. But there's only one picture that I have of all of us. So I grew up with a broken family. All right. My mom divorced my dad when I was 4 years old. And I didn't grow up having a family. But the company that I'm a part of, the business that I'm in, all of you are my family. And you guys make me feel like I have something other than, than me just being alone. I'm alone a lot of the time. And the business I'm a part of is my family. It is the community that I've always needed. And I believe that God brought me to this business for a reason. And if you don't know your why yet, I want you to dig deep. There's a book called Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy Neustadt. She will help you find your why. And there's a book by Simon Sinek, which is called Start With Your Why. Okay. So my why has changed so many times. My why has grown because I focus on finding my why, right? I've tapped into myself. Dig deep into that childhood trauma, all right? There's something in there. So discipline and motivation, they're 2 sides to the same coin. If you have the motivation you need, discipline is not going to be a problem. And if you like motivation, discipline is always a problem. Okay, so if you have the motivation you need, discipline is no problem. And if you like motivation, discipline is always a problem. So continue to give yourself more and a bigger why so that you can keep wanting to put in the effort to grow. If you guys don't have a why, right? If you can't do it for yourself, a lot of you said your family, do it to leave a legacy for your family. Do it for your future kids. Do it for your future family. Do it for your future husband or wife. Do it for the person that your future self, right? If Kat 3 years ago didn't take this leap of faith, the Kat right now wouldn't be talking to you guys. And leap of faith, I don't just mean in business, but in personal growth. All right. So once you learn to quit doing something, it's going to become a habit. Once you learn to quit, it's going to be a habit. So giving up has become a habit. If giving up has become a habit for you, remember the compound effect principle. The compound effect, Atomic Habits, another great book. But take one book at a time, all right? Don't go buy 7 books. Start simple, start small. But the compounding effects are a big thing, all right? The results are massive, even though the steps in the moment don't feel significant. And once you learn to quit, it becomes a habit. And last one, do you know when you are supposed to improve? Do you know when you are supposed to improve? Life lived for tomorrow will always be just a day away from being realized. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get that book tomorrow. I'll do that live tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Then you're always going to be a day away, every single day. Life lived for tomorrow will always be just a day away from being realized. So if you need to ask yourself, when should I improve? When am I supposed to improve? Today. You need to get started if you haven't yet. But most importantly, you need today to be every day. Make today every day. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. And that means developing great habits towards the things that you want to have achieved. A bad habit will never go away by itself. It's always an undo it yourself kind of project. But what are you willing to change today to change what you will be doing tomorrow? I want to know in the chat, what are you guys going to change today? For those of you that don't know, I had a really bad smoking weed habit. I look back at my old trainings, I'm like this. My eyes are shut. They're like bloodshot. I'm like, I cannot believe I executed like that. But for me, like smoking weed, and I'm not against smoking weed, you guys, but it was like 3 bong rips before a call. I had to take 3 bong rips before going live. I would take a bong rip before taking a shower, bong rip before an event, then I'd be late for an event. Literally bong rips all day. It was kind of intense. And it became like something that was my crutch. And I didn't want to have something that was a crutch. Like if I didn't have it, I would freak out. I would be looking for it, just like how we look for our phones if we can't find it. I would stop everything I'm doing if I ran out of pot to go and get more pot. Like it was something that was like taking away from me. And the first thing I did was out of sight, out of mind. Something simple. Let me just, my bong would be on my office desk. So I got rid of the bong so that I wasn't always looking at it. I would have a bong rip and a grinder. The bong rip would be behind my laptop and the grinder would be to the left of my laptop. So I would always be looking at it. So I would have 6 calls back to back, and in between the calls, I'd pack a bowl and rip the bong. So I had to put it out of sight, out of mind. That was the first thing I did. And I did it. I don't even remember because you guys, I smoked weed for 14 years every day. I don't even remember now. And there was a time in my life where I was like, I will never stop smoking weed. And it's crazy for me to talk to you guys today and tell you how I don't smoke weed anymore. Like, ask any of my closest friends. It's crazy. Okay. But the first step I took was I made a decision one day and I put the bong away and I put the grinder away. I threw away the bong and I hid all the weed. So I wasn't always looking at it. Okay. And now I don't smoke weed. Okay. And it's crazy. It truly is insane to look at that. All right. So at the end of the day, hard work really is the accumulation of easy things that you didn't do when you should have done them. How easy is it for me to throw away a bong? How easy is it for me to make sure that the weed is out of sight? And now, like, I can smoke a joint socially. I hardly ever do, because when I do, I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. Now it's like, I don't like doing it, which is crazy. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was hard work is really the accumulation of easy things that you didn't do when you should have done them. So stop setting goals. Instead of being so goal focused and goal conscious, focus on being growth conscious instead. So stop setting goals, and instead of being goal conscious, focus on being growth conscious instead. At the end of the day, hard work is really the accumulation of easy things that you didn't do when you should have done them. The things that you're putting off probably take less than 5 minutes to get accomplished. And if it takes you less than 5 minutes, do it now. Do it when you get off this call. Do it in the moment. If it takes you less than 5 minutes, do it now. There's a great composer. This is my last piece, but this part is very powerful, right? There's a great composer who makes music, and he don't stop setting goals, but instead, like, if you have all these goals that you've never accomplished, focus on growing yourself to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. ... question mark. Okay. So there's a great composer who makes really great music. And he said that he doesn't work because he is inspired, but he becomes inspired because he is working. So when you start working, you're going to start getting inspired. When you do that call, you're going to start getting inspired. When you do the things that you know you should be doing, the inspiration is going to come. A great writer once said, I don't look for motivation. I don't look for inspiration. I get up every morning and practice the discipline of writing. I don't expect to be perfect. I just expect it to be done. Anyone who does what they have to do only when they are in the mood or when it's convenient isn't going to be successful. The secret is always following through. And if you develop the habits of success, you will make success a habit. Motivation gets you going, you guys, but discipline keeps you growing. That's the law of consistency. And last part I want to leave you guys with, any reason to grow is a good reason, as long as it's your reason. So I hope this added some type of value to all of you. I hope after today, you guys start being consistent. Put an alarm in your mind when you're like, I don't feel like doing it. Know that success comes from doing things that failures don't like to do. Success comes from doing things that failures don't like to do. All right. But I love you guys. I kept you for an hour. Wow. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really do love these calls. Like I said, I feel so much more inspired now that I did the work more than I did before I got on this call. So the inspiration comes when you do the work, not before you do the work. All right. So I love you guys. I need to be more consistent with doing mindset calls for all of you and not just doing it once a month. So I will come up with a good schedule for that. Maybe we can do them every Friday, or maybe I can do them Tuesday and Thursday. I want to make sure it's something that I can be consistent with. All right. So I love you guys so, so, so much. My podcast is called Life with Kat. The book that I just shared with you guys is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C Maxwell. My Instagram is Kat from Kauai, so I'll post the IG live there. I will upload this video to YouTube, and I will post it on my podcast, so you guys will have a bunch of different places to go and receive this recording. But someone out there hates you for no reason, so I'm gonna love all of you for no reason. I love you guys so, so, so much. And again, the podcast is Life with Kat, K-A-T, Life with Kat. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.